With the announcement of Warzone 2's resurgence coming out, I want to give you guys some fun class setups just because I think people are getting tired of using the same old classes. So I wanted to spice it up a little bit, give you guys some things out, give you some entertainment, maybe a little bit of challenge, but not get you gunned. So we're going to start out with the N4. This is going to be a part of the top 5 series that, you can diversify a little bit. The M4 is a fantastic weapon, and it's actually a weapon you don't need an optic for. Now, there's 2 versions, but I'm going to give you the version without an optic. Now, we're actually going to start out with the Harbinger D20. If you don't want to use the Harbinger D20, my second recommendation is the Echoless 80, but the Harbinger D20, in my opinion, is the better option. What we're going to do is we're going to increase the bullet velocity, put it to about 45, increase the recoil smoothness, put it to about around the same, maybe about 50, 45, around that range. Don't tune it past there just because I don't see any real benefit. I think that's a good stopping point. Next, we're moving on to the barrel. Now, I love using the high tower barrel just for the pros. It helps the bullet velocity, damage range, recoil control, and hip fire accuracy at the cost of aim down sight speed, movement speed, and hip recoil control. And think about it, who cares about the hip recoil control? Most likely you're not going to be hip firing this gun. This is kind of essential to actually have on there. Make sure you have that on there. Just like the Harbinger D20, the pros of sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and aim walking speed. This aids and actually makes it even better. So we're going to increase the damage range a little bit more around the, I'd say maybe 25% range. And then the recoil steadiness, we increase it a little bit more, maybe about around the same. It's because you want to make sure the mobility and handling are still okay. At that point, pretty solid. You don't have to change it much anymore. Now, what you can do, because I have 2 versions that I actually would like to switch it up with, you can put a laser on there that actually made it a little bit better. You can use the Coriolis 44 V3, helps with the aim down sight speed and aiming stability, but the cost is the lasers visible in ADS. Put that on there, and then you could actually put on a magazine and high velocity. Or if you don't want to use the Coriolis, you can most likely choose one of these stocks. Now, the one that I would most likely use would either be the Tempest P80, and it sounds crazy because of the recoil control reduction, but if you don't want that, you can use the Demo Precision Elite Factory to help with more recoil control and more aiming stability at the cost of aim on sight speed, crouch movement speed, aim walking speed, and sprint speed. Now, whichever one you want to use, completely up to you. Just in regards to better recoil control, this will probably be ideal. And like I said, last but not least, you're going to want to either have on the 45 round or the 60 round. Now, if you use the 45 round, you're going to have a little bit more mobility. 60 round, you're going to have more bullets. Completely up to you, however you want to customize it. This is optimal for recoil control, and taking this off is going to be more optimal for movement speed. So just give you guys a taste of actually how good it is. Check this out. We're actually going to tune this up just a tiny bit before we do it. It's not really too important to tune this up, but I just want to show you guys anyway, just so you guys are like, you didn't show me the tuning. Now, around 1 is going to be where it's pretty solid. Now, aim walking steadiness, you can go without that. You can actually raise the aim down sight speed a little bit, probably around 1.30 range. That's a pretty solid estimate of where to have it at. And show you guys how good this is. 0 recoil, absolutely insane. And it's so good. Hardly even have to try to use this gun. Now, the recoil, the ADS is a little bit slower than it typically would be, but in my opinion, the trade-off, the recoil control, is absolutely beautiful. It doesn't take any effort to actually use this gun. So definitely recommend using this gun. Please give it a try. Next, we're moving on to the Kastov 762, and this baby is so easy to use and it's such a heavy hitter. So we're starting out with the Polar Fire S, and we're maxing out the bullet velocity, increasing the recoil smoothness by 0.72 ounces. So this helps with the sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down sight speed and aiming stability. Move on to the Kaz 10 584mm barrel, and this helps with the damage range, bullet velocity, hip fire accuracy, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed. Now, we increase the damage range by 0.28 inches and the recoil steadiness by 0.26 pounds. Not a big deal, trust me, it will help you in the long run. We have the Aim Op V4. This sight is still meta for the best recoil control. Set the eye position to far, max it out. And now we put on the Demo X2 grip for the recoil control, increase the aiming auto stability at 0.15 inches and the recoil steadiness by 0.29 ounces. Last but not least, we have the 40 round mag on there, and this baby is insane. Now check this out. Not much effort to actually control this. You literally have to hold your thumbstick down maybe a little bit, and then it just absolutely melts. So this is a gun that you definitely want to have in your top 5 setup, at least just to try it out if you want to use something a little bit different. Now, as you guys see, it does bounce every now and then, and obviously with every gun in this game there are a little bit of inconsistencies, but I think that this is a very consistent, powerful weapon with lack of recoil. Number 3 is the Lachmann 5.56. You don't have to put much effort into actually using this gun, and I think that's what makes it beautiful. We start up the Harbinger D20, and I need to let you guys know ahead of time, this gun has basically 0 recoil to start out with, and we're just giving you a no recoil, high TTK build to the extreme. So max out the bullet velocity and increase the recoil smoothness by 0.99 ounces. Around the 0.90 range is pretty solid. You don't have to be too perfect with it. Helps with sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down sight speed and aiming stability and aim walking speed. Put on the 15.9 Lachmann wrap barrel, increases the damage range and recoil steadiness by 0.31 pounds. The pros are bullet velocity, damage range, recoil control, and hip fire accuracy at the cost of aim down sight speed, movement speed, and hip recoil control. Put on the high velocity 5.56 rounds, max out the bullet velocity, and then max out the damage range. And then put on the Brune Warrior Grip. I actually didn't modify anything at this point, but the big thing about this is the recoil steadiness. Not many people actually know about the Brune Warrior Grip, but it is actually so amazing for recoil control. It's very slept on. This gun is, it melts people so quickly that, like, in my opinion, if you use this gun, at least for the first time, maybe a couple times, you'll see just how amazing it is. As you guys see, like, the recoil control is very consistent, the accuracy is great, and the TTK fire rate is amazing. Now I gotta give you guys a boring one, but it is absolute shredder, which is the Fennec. We start out with the ZLR 16.5 ignition barrel, increase the damage range by 0.25 inches, and the recoil steadiness by 0.5 pounds. Now the pros are the damage range, bullet velocity, hip fire accuracy, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed. Move on to the VLK Laser 7 MW. Helps with the aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and sprint to fire speed at the cost of the laser being visible in ADS, which, I mean, that doesn't really matter. Put on the Agile Assault 7 stock, increases the sprint speed, aim walking speed, crouch movement speed, and aim down sight speed at the cost of aiming stability and recoil control. You're not gonna notice the lack of recoil control and aiming stability. We're gonna fix that up, but reduce the weight by negative 2.06 ounces to increase the aim down sight speed. We're gonna put on the Fennec rubber grip and increase the recoil steadiness by 0.42 ounces. We didn't change the width. This helps sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. As you guys see, the con is recoil control, but since we took care of the recoil, it basically counted it out. And then I put on the Fennec Mag 45. You don't really want the Fennec double tack mod just because it's kind of unnecessary. So let's show you guys how good this is. As you guys see, this thing literally lasers, and then long range you're gonna have to burst fire, unfortunately, so I mean you have to work with that, but you don't have the smoke issue that you do with any other Fennec builds with this build right here, and that's the one reason I like this build so much. It melts extremely fast, and the smoke issue just completely disappearing is absolutely phenomenal. Last but not least, the titan of all guns right now, the Tac-V. I'm going to show you guys just how amazing this is. Now, you start at the Kastovia DX90, increase the bullet velocity by 0.84 inches, and the recoil smoothness by 0.90 ounces. This helps sound suppression, bullet velocity, recoil smoothness, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed, aim walking speed, and aiming stability. Move on to the 18-inch Precision 6 barrel. This helps with the damage range, hip fire accuracy, and bullet velocity. Increase the damage range of 0.40 inches and the recoil steadiness by 0.39 pounds. In the 0.30 regions, I mean, you don't have to be perfect. The cons are aim down sight speed and hip recoil control. Doesn't even matter. You're not going to be hip firing this. Now, put on the aim op B4 and tune it to max out the far range. This is going to help with the recoil control. Put on the 50-round drum and the F-Tac Ripper 56. This helps with aiming out stability, hip fire accuracy, and recoil stabilization at the cost of aim down sight speed, aim walking speed. Now, increase the aiming auto stability of 0.23 inches and the recoil stabilization 0.80 ounces. And the outcome is this. This thing is so good. You really need to try it out for yourself. And because it actually kills so fast, it's one of the most ideal weapons to actually have in your arsenal. So please give this a try. Like, why wouldn't you use this? This is a better TAC-56. A stronger TAC-56 for just a little bit more recoil. And you don't have to actually aim at the chest just because this thing practically 3 shots no matter where you shoot. So please use it. 2 shots, 1 headshot, and a body shot, you're basically knocking them already. So this is insane. Please give it a try and let me know in the comment section how you feel about it.